kids ain't bad like that. Look, well, she won't let me discipline them. She won't. And after a while, I just stopped. Look, I don't know what's wrong with her. We argue all the time. Every time I turn around, I try to do something. She's just driving me crazy. You look at me. I can't touch her. I can't even come near her. And we had sex in over a year.
Oh, Lord Jesus, please kill the visuals.
I'm bound up.
Why do it sound like both of y'all in prison?
I get more love in prison.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is your boy Shice, Mr. Talk of the Town.
Yay. And I am Katt Boogie, Big Guns Rock Radio, ATL.
And our special guest is in the building, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. Uh-oh, look. This guy, first of all, let me tell y'all, Mr. Perry, welcome to Let's Talk Crazee.
What up, Jay?
Hey.
First of all, people, if you just tuned in, Mr. Perry done had 4 hat changes in the last 30 seconds.
Just three.
All right. Are you getting ready to go on a date, or is that just your repertoire?
I mean, no. I'm at the crib, man, and we quarantining and chilling, and this is one of my things. I ain't fresh cut, so you gotta have your hat ready.
That's why I got mine on for sure.
I look good. Hold up, gentlemen. I look good. Hey, wait.
You do look fly. You killing it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You wear those hats on TikTok?
TikTok is crazy, man. I might wear a hat, but it's just so addictive, man. You can go in there and just start looking at stuff and be in there an hour just watching people wild out.
Yeah.
Trust me.
It's like TV. You be like, damn, what time is it? Been watching it all day.
Listen, My daughter have me on TikTok all damn day. I don't know how many dance videos I got on TikTok right now.
Let's go. Swag and toe, walk, swag out, ayy. Swag and toe, walk, swag out. Shoulders, shoulders. Come on. Shoulders. Let me see them shoulders. Millie rock on any block. 2 steps, wiggle, bounce. Come on. 2 steps, wiggle, bounce. Come on, hold up. Wait, right, left, switch. Hold it, hit that chitty. Hey, let's go. Show them what it do.
Oh, you turning up? You doing the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, shake. Clap. So, Mr. Perry, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up at.
From the south side of Chicago, grew up, but, I've called many places home throughout my life. I've lived in Monroe, Louisiana. I've lived in New Orleans. I've lived in L.A., and I currently reside in Atlanta,
Wow. Oh, we close. Great.
ATL, shout out. Well, I'm in Cobb County, actually.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm in Gwinnett. It's just down 85.
You got money over there.
You better watch it. Cat Boogie might roll up to your crib trying to get some sugar.
No, I'm gonna get beat down.
We got plenty of sugar.
Okay. You got any sweetener? A little sweetener? I'm diabetic.
I don't believe in that straight sugar.
See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's when you know you're black. We don't do the sweeteners. And listen, let me ask you this. What kind of Kool-Aid you like? What's your favorite Kool-Aid?
Red.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. See, right there. Not cherry, not strawberry, red. After that, then you go green.
Shout out to Sid the Entertainer for that one. Yeah.
Well, let me say this to you. I was reading some of your bio and stuff. You were in the Navy for many years. Is that true?
For 8 years, I served in the United States Navy from 1990 to 1998, and it was a great time, man. I joined the Navy because my oldest daughter was on the way, and I wanted to be able to take care of her myself and not rely on my mom to do it. So it was a great decision, and I grew up there. I grew up in the military.
Yeah, well, when I read that, when you said you didn't want your mom to take care of this is your responsibility, I had a lot of respect for you. So, yeah, but, I got to tell a story of how I got in contact with you. I just reached out to you. I was moving to Atlanta, and I was reading some of your bio and stuff, and you said something about taking a leap of faith.
Wow.
And you just went on and did it. And I went and did. I moved from New York here to Atlanta, and I reached out to you, and you responded. And most people don't. I said, Rodney, I'm moving to Atlanta. I know you don't know me, but I know you got an Empire show. I need to get on it. I'm moving to the North Coast. I was like talking out of my ass. I know that. And I was like, you just responded every time. But you always respond to me with like, One or two words. Nope. Yep. Here. B. I said, what in the world? Number. I'm like, but you know what? Shice is like, yo, he didn't respond. But, you know, you think you're going to do it? I said, yeah. Because I remember when you at first, and we're going to talk about the fact your stroke, people were reaching out to you. And you're like, I just don't feel like talking.
Yo, I knew he was, listen.
It wasn't that I didn't feel it. I just really, it was difficult for me to communicate.
Just responding, period. Yeah. Really what I said is responding. We just was like, okay.
Listen.
Love you. Like, he's like a one-word person.
Listen,
you know,
I knew Rodney was real when you called him and he was like, no, it worked. That's it. We ain't testing. It worked. Shut up.
I'm on Zoom every day.
Like, listen, we ain't doing no test run. If it messed up, it messed up, but it worked.
No, but I mean, Zoom is work. The only thing that's crazy about Zoom is that if you don't password protect your meeting, people can get in. And so, yeah, my friend had a Zoom and somebody broke in and put like some pornography on the screen. It was crazy.
What? While y'all was on?
While we was on, and we had to shut it down. You know, yeah, we had to shut it completely down and get a different room because, you know, what happens is people can get your that little number. They can get it. You know, if you put it out, people can get it. You know, like on social media.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, that's one of the big problems with Zoom. That's why people was kind of complaining about it. But I like Zoom, man. I've been doing some impromptu calls with some comedians.
Yeah.
And we were talking on Zoom. I mean, what I realized with the pandemic, not only are we not performing, but we are not interacting with each other. Right. And so I've been creating these little windows for us to just chop it up, you know.
Yeah, let me bring some of that to the stage. Open mic of Rodney Perry, Uncle Rodney, 2 minutes of Rodney Perry, real talk of Rodney Perry, improv workshops, at bedtime of Rodney Perry, drinking milk of Rodney Perry, hey, 60s of Rodney Perry. You are a hustler.
Yeah.
Woo! And I just said to myself, God, this man, and I don't know if it's after your situation, you decide every day is not promised, I got to get out there and do this. You are a sure hustler. I watch you all the time. I don't have to change to somebody else because you still got good content for me to keep going.
You know what it is, Katt, is that, like, you know, this is a time of you know, we don't know what tomorrow holds. And whenever I feel like that, I create something. So whenever I feel like, you know, I feel at a loss, I'll be like, you know what? Let's do something. Let's create. So Uncle Rodney came when I wanted to get on the social media. So I was like, how do I interact with the young people but not be fronting like I'm young?
Right.
I'm like, okay, I can be everybody's uncle. You know, okay, Uncle Rodney is a cool little. And now the young boys can be like, hey, Uncle Rock, hey, Unc, man, can you, nigga, how did you do this? And they hit me up for advice and stuff. And so that became that way. But, you know, some stuff is just my viewpoint. 2 minutes of Rodney Perry is just what I'm thinking that day. And I may or may not do it every day, but I wanted to have something go out every single day.
See,
and
let me ask you about that, because I feel like I do that, right? Something don't work, I try something else real fast. And some people tell me that that's my downfall. Like, I don't stick around enough to see if it's gonna really flourish or fail. But I'm like you. I feel like I don't have time to waste. Let's get it done. If this ain't working for me right now, I move on to the next one.
Well, I mean, I hear you, and I'm definitely guilty of that sometimes. But this is the reality, dog. Being a visionary is hard because sometimes you so far out that people not gonna be on board. So you gotta stay the course sometimes. Like you could have stopped doing something that was game changing. Right. You know, I was on social media in the early 2000s. Like if I had kept creating videos, I would be more of a household name now. Right. And so it's very difficult to be a visionary. So I'm gonna tell you is, like your friends say, just stay the course, dog. Like, don't stop doing it. Like, if you gotta do something else, add it.
Right.
But don't quit, because the only way you lose the game is to quit.
So what drives you though? Like, what is your motivation? What is your drive?
Well, I mean, I know this, and this time is driving a lot of my thought process, but it's like the stock market. When the stock market is at zero, it's the best time. Like when it's at zero, and the world is at zero. So guess what? There's no place to go but up. So this is the best time to be creating. And so that's my my energy. That's what's spurring me on is knowing that since we're at zero, it's all even playing field. Like nobody, like it's people that was making crazy money that they making as much as you and me.
Right.
Right.
Well,
so
you're
now,
making a little bit more than me. So don't you and me. You know.
I am rich.
Me too.
Let me hold $5.
Rodney, let me ask you something. So, the improv. When I reached out to you, you were doing it up close to where I live, which is Norcross, and you're doing it in the Norcross.
Right.
Any thoughts of doing it again? Because I watched the one that you had.
I'm teaching the class right now. I'm doing it online. I have 17 people that's in a that I teach every week. They're in a Zoom call right now.
But how do you do that? Because improv is very more personal. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to really teach somebody that.
Hey, you would be surprised. And this is what I tell my students. I'm not really teaching improv. That's just what I'm doing is wrapped in improv, but I'm really helping you trust yourself and trust your choices. Like you guys don't get to do what you do without trusting yourself. So as artists, the hardest thing to do is to trust self. Right. And so when you leave my class, I want you to leave my class trusting yourself. And so that's really what I'm selling and what I'm teaching. And you know, I'm expanding. We're doing team building for businesses. You know, we're doing I like to say virtual classes now because I can have people on the Zoom and I can interact with them like they're in class. It's really amazing.
Right. How do you see, this is the new norm, and right, social media has been around, and now that the pandemic has hit really hard, do you see that this will be our new norm? Like shows will now be virtual. Do you see that coming up?
We don't know what the future is going to hold. So I think it'll be some hybrid. I think it'll be small audiences with some virtual component. So a place that will hold 500 people is going to have 250, and maybe they're going to let you be able to buy tickets and stay home and watch.
Yeah. Because concerts, you know, the guys with the music, they make their money from being on the road. So do comedians.
We all do. Yeah.
How are we going to make this money? That was the thought pattern. I was like, wow.
Now, I don't know how long it's going to be like that, but I think that it's going to be like that for a period of time.
Okay.
So how did you get started in comedy?
I want to tell it. I think I know it.
You know what you think?
Kim Whitley.
Kim Whitley gave me my first job, but I was already doing comedy.
Okay.
So Kim Whitley, I met Kim. She was doing. I had an open mic in real life in Inglewood, California, and Kim would come and do my stage. And after the show one day, I was like, "Yo, I watched your set. Here's some notes." I took some notes of what she's like, "Dude, I've never had nobody stop and give me notes." And so we talked, and she was also she had just got the show Drama. And so I began writing for her on Drama, myself and a couple other comedians. And that was the beginning of our relationship. And she's a great lady, man. But I started comedy, to answer your question, Shice, way before that. I mean, I was doing comedy easily in the early 90s, you know. And so, you know, I had a teacher that would let me tell jokes, you know, at the end of the day, if I would shut up throughout the course of the day, you know what I'm saying? You know, Mr. Thompson used to say, Rodney, if you shut up, you can tell jokes. And so that was a beautiful time. And, you know, I tell cats all the time, find what you love to do and do that the rest of your life.
Right. Were you a class clown in school? Because a lot of comedians say I was a class clown. Were you a class clown or were you different?
No, I was a class clown, but I wasn't the funniest. I mean, I went to school with some way, like some funny people, but the difference between me and them is I'm willing to do it in front of strangers.
Yeah,
So,
that is a difference.
A comedian is a different thing because of your need to do that, to be a fool in front of strangers.
Rodney, I guess I'm going to ask for your advice. So I do stand up, but I also do sit down comedy. And that's how I really got with the radio, because I was a single mom and I didn't want to be out late hours doing comedy. So that's how I started the Katt Boogie show. But for whatever reason, when I write, I rehearse it, and then when I get in front of the crowd, I change it. I got to feel how the crowd is. That's why I don't do it as much. I started to just do it, doing the radio. I don't know why. Do you ever wing it, or is it always you write it down and follow the course of what you wrote, or do you want to change it when you're on stage?
Well, here goes. Everybody has a different process, but I would say instead of, of course, write material. It's always good to be a good writer.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I personally don't fashion myself a great writer. I call myself a great reporter. So I watch life and I report back to my audience what's going on. Okay. Now, so your brain operates different than your brain. Like the part of you that writes is a different part of your brain than the part that performs. Okay. So the part that performs is performing in pictures and images. And so the part that will write is writing it's more of, it's a longer form. So what you're having difficulty with is translating what you wrote into the performance, right? And so I would challenge you to, once you write it, then make it a bullet point, right? Okay. So I'm gonna do a joke about, I got a half a page of material about Taco Bell. Just write Taco Bell. Mm-hmm. Like, don't ask your brain to come back with all those words. Tell your brain, do the joke about Taco Bell. Guess what your brain is going to do? It's going to do the fucking joke about Taco Bell. Oh, excuse me.
That's okay.
Oh, listen, you can be real as you want.
That's it.
But you feel me? So you the reason your brain is like, what do you want me to do? You want me to read this, or you want me to tell them the joke? Right. And so it's conflicted. So you gotta let your brain know it's okay not to say all the words, but let's tell that joke.
See.
Okay, so when's the class, Rodney? When's the class, baby?
I charge for that little piece I just gave.
I know.
Oh, there you go.
Hold on, let me get my wallet out. Let me see what I can find.
You pull it out of there, didn't you? You better watch it. She might pull think out of there too. So Rodney, here's my thing, right? I get a lot of people. I think a lot of people take comedy for granted, right? What the hell did he?
I put it back. It's warm.
No, you didn't see what Rodney did. You laughing, but Rodney pulled out a whole water bottle out of his shirt.
Oh,
look, he pulled out.
Oh my gosh.
So let me ask you this. How hard do you think, see people, oh,
hey,
Jesus.
Hey, give me some, wait.
He gonna pull out the jet.
Okay.
So, I want you to tell people, inspiring comedians, how hard it is, right? Because I do cruise ships, right? I host cruise ships, and I've actually became like the comedy club manager on the cruise ships.
Oh wow! And, what cruise line?
I don't want to say them.
Okay.
But we'll talk. We'll talk. But
do they got roller coasters?
Yeah, the new one does. Yes. So what happened was, people say to me, "Oh, you should be a comedian," but that's not where my heart is. I feel like I'm funny when you don't expect it. When people don't realize, when you pay to see comedy, they want you to give me them jokes up front, back to back to back. And I go, that's not me. When I bomb, I'm ready to go. Like, oh, this not working. Peace. I'd rather just host it and laugh at what the comedians say on the back end or whatever. Do you find that it's really hard to do comedy? Like, can you give some some insight for the new comedians that's trying to come up?
Well, is it hard to do comedy? I mean, everything worth having is hard.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. That's
So, and this is the crazy part. It should look easy. Like when you watch Rodney Perry, you should go, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like if somebody doing comedy and you saying, I don't want to do that, then that means they're probably not good. So if you're a good comedian, it should look easy, but it's definitely harder than it looks.
Yes.
But what's hard? Okay, speaking in front of people, that's number one fear in the world. Also putting a joke together, that's not easy. That's a little difficult. But this is the irony of the whole thing. If you love it, it just makes sense.
Right.
You know, so when I meet a young comic and they ask me, you know, what to do, I say, find out if you love it and then do it the rest of your life.
Nice.
Yeah. That's something that I thought about, and I just want to touch on it right now. Back when you had your stroke in 2016, and when you were going through that, in the moments when you're by yourself, were you concerned that you may not be able to do this anymore? You know, with regards to having.
Well, absolutely. That was my number one fear. You know, I was more afraid of that than anything. You know, and you know, I had, of course, had conversations with God. Like, you know, you ask God, like, why me? And he kept coming back, going, why not you? Why not you get to tell the story? But the crazy part, I never for once thought that I wasn't gonna come back. You know, I was afraid, but I knew I would be okay. You know, I wasn't in any pain. I just couldn't walk. I couldn't use my left hand. And so, you know, it was scary. I mean, you're a stand-up comedian, you can't stand up.
Yeah.
It was very scary.
It's just so strange because my mom had what they call a TIA, which is a mini.
I know exactly what that means.
We were walking up the church steps, and all of a sudden, she got so heavy, and then her face just went to the side, and I was like, Mom, what happened? But when she got up to the church, she sat down, it just all, she came back.
She have high blood pressure?
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's left us already, but I'm just saying, it was just like it happened that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, but when what happens is your blood pressure goes up and down, right? And blood pressure is the silent killer. So it goes up and down, and what she experienced is a peak in her blood pressure, which closed some vessels of blood to her brain, which gave her, like you say, a little mini stroke. And so you have that, and then you sit down and calm down, and your blood pressure go down, and everything starts flowing back again.
Yeah.
And so that's usually a good sign for you to get your shit together. But we all don't do that. And a lot of us don't know. I didn't know the symptoms. I didn't know.
I didn't know there were 3 different types of strokes. And I was walking your walk. Like you said, first you were talking with your assistant, Madeline, I think it was. And then you went on to talk to Ryder the next day. And he's like, you went on and did 2 shows. You're like, yo, man, I'm really not feeling good. I really need to go to the hospital. And then you get to the hospital. And am I understanding it actually happened right then and there?
It happened. Well, you know, a stroke is not like a heart attack. It doesn't, it manifests on the outside, but you're not like, you're not like in pain. It's like your body just not working.
Yeah, it just shuts down like, hey.
Yeah, so you don't really know what's going on. Right? So I walked into a hospital, but I didn't walk out. I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. I couldn't, you know, and so it was crazy, man, but it was probably one of the best things that happened to me.
So let me ask you this: when you during the course of your stroke, and you worked with a lot of people, did anybody reach out to you and say, "Yo, Rodney, we're gonna get you back. We're gonna bring Did anybody reach out to you during that time to bring you back or help come back?
Yeah, a lot of people helped. You know, people came to see me. A lot of my peers popped in, which, you know, and to be honest, I didn't want to see nobody, but it felt good when they did come. You know, so Bill Bellamy came through, Lil Duval came through, Ronnie Jordan, D-Lay, a lot of really dope people. Ali Sadiq came to visit me. My friend Chandrella Avery came to visit me. so many great comedians, and you know, and then the financial part of it, you know, it was stuff that I just wouldn't allow. Like they wanted to do a benefit show for me, and I was like, no, don't do that. Like, I'm not dead. Like, I'm out here fighting for my life. I'm not dead.
Mhm.
Right.
So that was that. Then Kevin Hart reached out to me, like, look, don't worry about money. You know, like, you just get well. Like, we got
That's
your
a
family.
beautiful thing.
And
That's
and
beautiful.
that was everything for me, because I was so worried and stressed about that I couldn't really focus on my rehab. And when he told me that, I was able to kind of.
Yeah, I mean, because my brother, I love you, but you got what, 5 kids? 5 or 6 kids?
Six children.
You 5 girls, 1 boy, right?
You got 6 kids? What happened?
Yeah,
Cable didn't work?
Hey, man, we ain't had no TV at all.
You know what? It's so funny. I watched IG that you did with Michael Collier. And you said he sent you a joke every day. Is that true? Did he call you or whatever send you a joke?
Yeah, we did. He called me with the joke of the day every day. He really got on my nerves after about 2 weeks. It was actually really cool, man. And he would just pop in there. All right, 2 guys walking to a bar, and he'd tell a joke, and then, all right, talk to you later, and hang up. That was every day.
You look like Father Time.
He said, brother, I'm going to call you every day with a joke. Are you ready? And he got me most days. He made me laugh. So, yeah.
Wow.
I want to know, every comedian or everybody in the industry basically knows their worst show and the show that says, okay, I made it. Can you tell me those 2 things for you?
My worst show, I did a show with back in the day, 1998. Guy Torrey had a show in LA called Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday.
I got on the show. I've been in the Bay Area killing, and I walk on the stage that night, and before I'm on stage, 30 or 40 seconds, I'm getting booed. And
40 seconds in?
Yeah, they booed me, and I can still see the guy. White guy stood up on his feet and booed me. And I tried to hit him with some jokes, and nothing, and moved. And the boo is like wildfire. It's going all over the room. And before long, I'm getting a full room boo. And I went back. You know, Guy Troy came out. He was like, "Yo, man, you can't talk about my audience like that." He said, "That's it." So he clowned me, but I'm behind the curtain, like looking. I'm like, "Yo, this is not why I'm here. This is not what I came to do."
Right.
And somebody in the audience said, "Well, he didn't get a chance." Somebody said, "Well, let him come back." He's like, "Y'all want him to come back?" And he brought me back out.
Wow.
And I did my closing joke. I got probably about, on a scale of 1 to 10, about a 7 on laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I got out of there, man. And that was a great moment. It was a moment that changed everything, because the failure of getting booed in that moment was important, but the fact that I came back was even more important. So that was like the best and worst set I ever had. And you know, I talked later to Joe Torre. He said, "Rob," he said, "what impressed me is not you getting booed, but the fact that you came back." He said, "A lot of people got booed on the stage that we never saw again. And so the fact that you were still there speaks volumes to who you are."
And that's what I think that's what the youth today miss, right? Like with social media, like even with music, right? I always say back in the days, hip hop and music had A&Rs. You know, your A&R, you had to work to get to that point. Now you don't have that. YouTube, you become an internet, a social media sensation. You think you think you it, and then you don't get the real confidence or the real exposure or the real how do I say? You don't get the real feel of a real show. You know, like I think people need to go out, get booed, so you know what it's like to get booed. So you know this is where I need to go. I can't do this anymore. You know?
Right. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you know, only black people think like that. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have to fail to know that you don't want to fail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, we've been through so much turmoil and so much, you know, bad stuff that we feel like that's part of the game, and it's not. You know, like our children will live a better life than us because they won't have the obstacles we had. Right. So what do the old people say? Oh, them kids spoiled. Are they spoiled, or are they benefiting from the fact that you didn't let them struggle? Like I mean, it's a philosophical view to look at stuff, but it's not. We don't always have to. It don't have to be hard for it to be worthwhile.
Right.
You know, and you know, why not? You know, be successful. Don't get me wrong. There's always work. You put in work. You know, you didn't get that big old picture behind you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? You had to put in work to get that. And so that in itself is work, and you teach them the value of hard work and what that is. But other than that, you don't have to get hit in the head 9 times to know you don't want to get hit in the head. That just don't feel good.
You're right. I totally agree with that. I do.
Yeah. So, Rodney, let me ask you something. So I was looking at all your stuff, your movies, and I caught this one movie, and it may not be one of the more popular movies. It's called Once Upon a Time in Detroit.
I'm very proud of that movie.
Let me tell you, you got that I'm trying to give a fuck. I have to curse. I'm trying to find me some give a fuck. Whether, you know, I could give it away, when Weller got killed. And you with that bag of barbecue chips, honey, I tell you, not only did you make me hungry, but I was like, I would never like to be interrogated if I hear that. But
so for anybody that don't know, so it's a really cool movie. It's on Amazon Prime. My buddy wrote, produced, and directed, and the character is kind of a dirty cop, right? And that scene was so amazing, right? So I got the chips from Brad Pitt. If you ever watch Brad Pitt in the movie, he's always eating something. Like, Brad Pitt is always eating. It's just so funny to me, right? And so I said, if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna eat me some chips, because Brad Pitt be eating chips. Like, watch the Ocean movies. Ocean 11, Ocean 12.
Right.
Brad Pitt is always walking and eating some chips or some anything. Eat peanuts, all kind of shit. So I always thought that was dope. So I said, if I get a chance, I'm gonna eat something. And so I came in the scene. I said, give me a bag of chips. I grabbed a bag of chips. And the thing about being an actor is just knowing the guy, you know. And that moment, his brother had just been brutally murdered. And he and I had a conversation earlier. And so it was my opportunity to get back at him. And dude, it's such a great scene. There's some great scenes in that movie. So
yeah, especially the one, I don't want to give it away. When he took him to his little party, I want to say his coming home party. Yeah. Ooh, I want to kick your ass out of that one there, Rodney.
I was evil in that movie. That movie is a little scene movie, and I did a movie in Philly called Broad Street Bullies that never came out. I play a gangster, suits and everything.
I know.
You know, Mercury Night, and that was a cool movie. But you know, I'm a really good actor, you know, and the world don't really know that yet. But
no, you listen, you really are. Let me tell you, we laugh, and I'm just speaking in my household. Me and my wife laugh. Especially the Tyler Perry movie, and I want to ask you, how did you get on to that? But that part when Medea has to tell you, be a man, stand up for yourself, and you like, no, I can't get no sex, I can't get nothing, and Bow Wow goes, you act like you in prison. No, I get more love in jail. Like, we died laughing.
So here goes a quick story about that. So first day on set, and Mr. Perry is directing. He's behind the camera, and I improvised that line. So the line was something else, and so like I did it right. Then on take 2, I did that, and I heard him laugh, and I was like, "Oh, it's on now." Yeah. And he laughed, and so I got that line got in. I get more love in jail. Yeah.
So how was it working with like Tyler Perry? Like, is he strict to work with, or is he?
So he's absolutely the hardest working dude I ever worked with. I mean, you got to think he wrote, produced, directed, and he was playing like 3 characters. So it was crazy just to watch the guy's work ethic. And when we were shooting the movie, he brought us all to his home one day. His house was immaculate. It was beautiful. And I asked him, I was like, man, did you see all this happening? And he was like, he said, I didn't see it. Just like you don't see what's going to happen for you, but it's going to happen. And I was like, yo, wow, thank you for saying that and sharing. And he was just a generous dude.
Nice.
Because I got to say, when you were playing Harold and you stood up to my girlfriend Beth, man, I was like, ooh, Harold, you looking kind of good there, boy. I tell you.
Natalie DeSalle Reed. And Natalie and I have been friends for many years, so to get to play her husband was really dope.
Wow.
Them badass kids.
Yeah.
Almost badass kids in real life.
So is Rodney Perry more Harold, or is Rodney Perry more Once Upon a Time in Detroit? Where is Rodney Perry, his characteristic? What type of man is Rodney Perry?
He's probably somewhere in between those guys. I mean, I ain't no pushover like Harold. I'm a man's man when it comes to my family and my kids. My wife ain't talking to me crazy, although she crazy. And, but I ain't no killer either. I ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Right.
And so it's a blessing. This life is a blessing, man. And so yeah, I'm somewhere in between those two guys.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing during this whole quarantine? Like, how do you relax?
Or do you relax?
I don't relax, and that's the problem. Like, I think I'm like just tired. I've been hustling and grinding and doing these calls and doing interviews and interviewing people myself and da da da. And so, it kind of takes its toll on you. Yesterday, I just was like, I'm tired.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Rodney, this was really a dream come true. I truly appreciate you coming on with us. I'd like the information on improv whenever that starts again. I actually like it more.
We got an open house. Let me give you this. Hold on. We have an open house, and they'll be.
You want to text it to me?
No. Let me find it because I don't know when it is.
What's next for Rodney Perry?
Well, I'm in the new Coming to America.
Really?
Oh,
All right.
I would have loved that.
So can we spill some of the beans on that? Like, can you give us like some insight on what's gonna happen?
May 23rd is the open house.
May 23rd is open house.
I mean, what can I say? I can say some of the cast. Lou Nell is in it. Of course, Arsenio Hall, Eddie Murphy are back. I'm so sorry.
Came out of nowhere, I know.
Listen, it's real.
I couldn't fight it off. Tracy Morgan is in it. Myself, Michael Blackson. It's really a crazy cast of funny people, and it was an honor, man, because it's like I've been in some cool movies, but this is gonna be a classic. This movie, they do $100 million, and
wow.
Who do you play?
I don't know if I can say.
We try.
Okay.
Like you see me digging in deep, right? Like who?
I don't think I can say.
So, all right, you watched the first one, of course.
Yeah.
Do you think that, sometimes sequels are hard to make just as good as the first?
I think just to answer your question, that you ain't even got all the way out yet. I think it's a good story, and it makes sense. And Eddie Murphy is still the funniest man on the planet.
You ain't lying.
That was going to be one of my questions. Who do you think is probably the funniest comedian that you've ever seen?
Now, that's a different question. The funniest guy I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of people be the funniest person I've ever seen in a certain moment. I've seen Mark Curry be the funniest person I've ever seen. I've seen Jamie Foxx be the funniest person I've ever seen. I've seen people like Tony Roberts be the funniest person I've ever seen.
Tony Roberts is funny. Yeah.
I've seen, I've had moments myself when I was like, boy, you good. So it's, I felt that way. I saw Mike Epps one night and I was like, this dude is amazing. So I see a lot of comedy. So every once in a while you see a guy, you be like, wow. Dave Chappelle is my favorite though. He's the number one comic working right now.
I just want to touch on these two things. I know we gotta go soon, but what do you like better? I mean, I know you did the late night talk show with Monique. Do you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that as well? Doing that type of work on an every night basis? I mean, I know.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, it was work, but it wasn't work. I mean, you just hang with your friends every day, and you was making a TV show, and learning. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I would do a show myself. I would do a talk show.
Yeah, I would thought that'd be more hard on you because it's every night. It was every night of doing. It's not like you doing.
We actually shot 3 days a week.
Oh, okay. So you did it. Okay.
We shoot like 6 shows a week. So it wasn't quite every night. We had Mondays off. We had like Fridays off, but so I was still able to gig on the weekends, which is where my heart was always. So as long as I can gig, I'm okay.
And one other thing, there's so much that I read about your records, your comedy records. I remember, wow, you have one called Survivor. I was able to hear some inserts of that. You are very funny.
That I covered a stroke on that one, and and I actually recorded that on Mother's Day, which is interesting because my mom passed away a few years ago, and so that was significant because of her. And but it was I'm Rodney Perry funny if I say so myself.
Yes, I think I do.
You really are funny. If I must say so myself, you're funny. I want to play a game with you real quick before we let you go.
Okay.
You have to pick one of these comedians to hire or fire and tell me why.
Okay.
All right. So Red Fox or Richard Pryor? Who would
hire
you hire?
One, fire one?
Yep.
Wow. Red Fox or Richard Pryor. Wow. How would you do that? Hire Richard Pryor, fire Red Fox.
Whoa.
Richard Pryor is, to me, the greatest comedian ever stand in front of a microphone or behind it. And Red Fox is dope, but if he's up against Richard Pryor, he got to go.
All right. Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence?
Oh, easy. Eddie Murphy. Martin Lawrence, you fired, buddy.
Katt Williams or Kevin Hart?
Now that's a tough one.
He pleads the fifth. Forget it.
I'm gonna say Kevin Hart because he sent me $20,000.
Listen, I ain't mad at that. Now you just said Dave Chappelle or Mark Curry?
Dave Chappelle.
Ooh. Last one, Chris Tucker or Mike Epps?
Mike Epps.
Oh, nice. I didn't see that one coming. I thought you would have went for Chris. Nice.
I mean, I like Chris, but Chris ain't working like that. You know, you don't want to see Mike.
Nah, that's a fact. So I just want to say thank you for taking the time out to talk to us. I really appreciate it. Definitely a big fan. So to get to talk to you is like, wow.
Wow. Hey, I'm honored. I know you have a choice over who y'all talk to, and thank you for having me on.
Rodney, you was on the radar from July 20th, 2018 in my mind when I was on that highway coming from New York to Atlanta. It's just a matter of time. And when I want to keep in contact, things that are going on, because I'm trying to keep myself established here in Atlanta. It's kind of hard. I had more of a following in New York, but, supporting the network, people,
There's thousands of New Yorkers here.
I know.
Yes. Listen, let me tell you, my kids was watching me. I was, going over some things with that you were doing, and they kept saying, "Oh, I love this movie. I love this movie." And then they get to a part with you with the kids and stuff, and they go, watch this. This is funny." So I go, "Well, Dad is about to interview him, right?" They go, "You're lying." you're not doing that. You're lying. And I'm like, no, for real. So they like, no, you're not. No, you're not. I'm like, okay.
Where they at?
Watch this. Hold on. Jaden. See, only on the show we could do that, right? Just call him in. Jaden.
Hey, come here.
Remember the guy I told you that I was going to be interviewing from Tyler Perry movie? Look, come here. Say hi. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Say hi.
Yes.
See you. Move in. Look.
What up, Jaden?
Homie.
Hey, Jaden.
Look, he want to be cool. Hey, what's up?
That is like you just interrupted his Madden game.
No, the fact that's what he doing right now, playing games. Right, you can go. Look.
Hey, I stopped playing to come talk to y'all.
They was like, at first it was like, yeah, you're not doing that. You're not doing that. Now I'm like, come here. Now he's like, now I'm playing my game. I don't care. Like, so I don't know.
Hey, my kids think I'm lame and I'm dope.
I say the same thing, but like I said, I definitely appreciate you taking the time out, and I need to borrow one of your hats.
Yeah, the hat game is serious.
What color you want? Black. I got a dark blue.
I think I want the dark blue one.
Dark blue. Oh, don't have me with that one.
Ooh, that one is nice. Yes, I call that big sexy movement. I like that. I like it.
Yeah, that's nice. I like my hats like I like a woman big.
Hey!
Oh.
You got a brother? Wait a minute. You got a brother, Rodney? Because my daughter's already named Joyce Perry from her father. You got a brother?
I got several brothers.
Okay.
Lord have mercy.
Offline, baby.
I mean, why you say that? Because you, oh, man.
Don't get me started, baby. Because I'm ready. I need me a man. It's been 5 years. 5 long.
Yo, look at it. Yo, his face was like, whoo, it's dusty down there.
Don't say don't go down there. I'll back it up on something I stick on the wall now. Don't get on it.
They be like,
You throw it in the corner and go to sleep. You got the one you clasp on the bed, too. That one is wonderful.
first of all, Rodney, before you got on, she kept turning her camera off with her nipples. I have no idea
I'm
how.
sorry. They were in the way.
She moved, leaned in, the camera went off. And I said, Katt, what's going on? She said, my titties is just hitting the camera. So,
yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. They're in the way. They're 50s. What do you want me to do about it?
I'm that man.
Yo,
You can't get that bra on no store. You got to go online and order it.
Yeah, they $50 it up. They having to sell 20% off. I ain't saving no money.
there's probably 100 COVID-19 masks that could be made out of her bras.
At least 4.
So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out my man Rodney Perry at Rodney Perry Live on Instagram, and make sure you check out Coming to America coming soon.
Yes.
I'm getting front row seats. I'm there. I am telling you. And Mr. Perry, I hope that we get to run past, run across each other again.
I'm going to May 23rd when he sends me the information.
Uh-oh. I'm on it. So make sure you send it to me too as well.
I got
I'm closer.
So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, give it up for Mr. Rodney Perry.
Hey!
And it was just, like I said, such an honor to talk to you today and get some insight of how you've been doing. And I'm glad to see you made a full comeback.
Yes, in recovery. God bless.
Bigger than ever. So thank you for that.
Wow. Hey, thank you for having me, guys.
All right, guys. So this is Shice and Katt Boogie. We are out of here. We will talk to y'all at another time later. Yeah. This is what we call Let's Talk Crazy. All right, so we see you guys next week. All right,
next week. Take care. Salute.